So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
CNN sold its soul for ratings so transient that the additional Trump audience immediately vanished. Within the hour, CNN was back in last place behind Fox and MSNBC, and by midnight, the entire ratings bump and 3/4 of all CNN viewers were gone. And while one threat from Wolf Blitzer or Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper could get the CEO Chris Licht fired and this prostituting of CNN ended, instead of Anderson Cooper bravely calling out his bosses, last night he blamed his audience, sanctimoniously scolding his handful of remaining viewers, quote, "Maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office, staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with." CNN in full meltdown.
All right, guys, so we have to continue the coverage of CNN's town hall with Trump because the mainstream liberal media is still in full meltdown mode, including CNN themselves, for the fact that they happen to hold a town hall with a former president who they disagree with politically. Apparently, that's not allowed, okay, in mainstream liberal media, and these people are telling you out loud just how fascist they really are. And that's why it just really amazes me that these people are still upset about this. A lot of people are upset with CNN over the fact they hosted the town hall with Trump, even though CNN tried their best to push back against Trump as much as possible. I mean, they lied about the event. They claimed that it was just going to be Trump answering questions from the audience. But no. As soon as the event started, it was Caitlin Collins trying to debate Trump on the mainstream liberal media's issues or grievances with Trump, right? Issues that don't really matter to the American people, like, for example, the 2020 election, January 6th, who he likes to sleep with, his personal life, right? Those are things that CNN wanted to talk about, okay? And I just think that it's just funny to see CNN still get massive backlash for hosting the town hall, even though they did exactly what their critics asked them to do when it came to hosting Trump. But I think I know what the actual real issue is, okay? We're going to get into some of the meltdown, some of the criticisms for the mainstream liberal media, but I just want to give some context before I get into it. That CNN had a big ratings boost after this town hall, okay? They doubled Fox and MSNBC. They brought in about 3.1 million total viewers and 703,000 in the key demographic. Now, again, this is a success for CNN, whose ratings have been absolutely failing. They've been in the tank. But it's still not necessarily great for a town hall compared to Fox News's ratings when they have town halls. But still, for CNN, it's good. And again, I think that MSNBC here is very upset because they know that if CNN actually goes in the direction that I've been recommending that CNN go in for the longest time, right, ever since they decided that they're going to be neutral, that MSNBC's days as being the #1 outlet outside of Fox News is over. Take a look.
Yeah, Joy, just listening to you speak there and introduce it all, you set it up so well. It's so depressing. I was one of those people who went into last night thinking this is going to be bad, but it was worse than even I thought. I thought CNN would have some kind of plan for the night. You and I, Joy, we work in cable news, we work in television. If we had an interview like that, we would sit with our team, we'd say, okay, I'm going to do this. They'll do that. What if this happens? What if this happens? Have we got a plan for it? There was nothing. I mean, people are saying today, Caitlin Collins, poor Caitlin Collins, she tried her best. And with the great respect to Caitlin Collins, I'm a great admirer of Caitlin Collins' interviews previously. She did very well when she was in the White House briefing room, holding Trump to account. She did a very good interview recently with Rick Scott. But last night, it just wasn't good enough. If you're going up with Trump at 8 o'clock, primetime television, this is the biggest interview of your life. Where was the prep? Why go in, as you say, with that question? Why were you not prepared for his lies? We knew what Trump would do. This is not 2016. We haven't gone back in time in a time machine. There's no excuse for not knowing that Trump's going to steamroll you, that Trump's going to verbally abuse you. When he said, you're a nasty person, it was almost like, tick, I was waiting for that. There was no way he was going to go through the night without insulting her. There was no way he wasn't going to mock E. Jean Carroll. There was no way he wasn't going to say rigged election again and again. At one point, she says to him, It wasn't a rigged election. You can't keep saying that all night long.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, he can.
And he
Yeah,
did.
he can.
And CNN helped him. And you had no plan for it. So, I have a chapter, as you know, Joy, in my book about gish galloping. I wrote a book on this. And I said, Donald Trump is the master of the gish gallop.
Yes.
He will steamroll you. He will hit you with a blizzard of lies. And you know what you can't do? You can't do a live TV format with Donald Trump. And you certainly can't do it in front of an audience of his superfans. That way is madness. It is setting up Caitlin Collins to fail.
Well, and by the way, asking an open question to Donald Trump. You and I have talked about this. I literally did text Mehdi last night. Tell me the name of that thing again, the Gish Gallop, because I was like, what's the name of that thing? Because I was going nuts. I mean, the reality is asking him an open question is inviting him to Gish Gallop by saying,
and not having follow-ups, Joy.
Exactly.
Not having follow-ups. When he says the Democrats are executing babies, you don't move on to the next topic. You stay and you follow up on that. When he says, I didn't say I'd terminate the Constitution, and we all know he did, it's written down, you stay there. You don't move on.
Yeah, so I find that to be fascinating because MSNBC never conducts interviews like that with Democrats, right? They allow Democrats to say all types of crazy stuff about Republicans, like, for example, say that they're fascists, say that they're the party of white supremacy, make all types of claims about them taking away people's voting rights. Again, claims that have no basis in reality whatsoever, but they never ask a follow-up question. They never press the Democrats on anything, right? And it's just so funny how these people go out of their way to try to talk about all of Trump's scandals and why he should not be given a platform when Biden has a sexual assault allegation out there right now that is being ignored by the mainstream liberal media.
Let's share a piece of the tweet from Tara Reid. She said, I want to make something clear. If something happens to me, all roads lead to Joe Biden. Joe Biden and DNC political machine threats, bullying, and intimidation over the last 3 years will not work. I am not suicidal, and I should not be under investigation, nor am I a foreign agent, like maybe Hunter Biden is. I'm a private citizen. Now, listen, there's more to the tweet, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But, Congressman, you've invited Tara Reid up to Capitol Hill to testify at long last, and I think she deserves her day and a chance to tell her story. None of the American media have interviewed her. An Australian 60 Minutes crew interviewed her, and the American news media has completely ignored her. It's good to be a Democrat, huh?
Weeks ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene and I had the opportunity to interview Tara Reid. I found her to be one of the most credible witnesses I have ever interviewed in the practice of law or during my time in Congress. And
Biden also has a family business scandal that Republicans have been screaming from the rooftops about.
We don't know because one thing everybody in this room and the American people definitely know is that the Biden family doesn't really have a business. There is no business structure around this family except politics. And since Joe Biden has spent decades in the Senate, served 8 years as vice president, and is now president of the United States, and the family's getting money from various countries and foreign businesses through various shell companies and this web of LLCs, I mean, guys, you in the press, this is easy pickings. I'm giving you Pulitzer stuff here. We have now been able to clearly see that the Biden's associates, like Rob Walker, Eric Sherman, as has been discussed, created at least 16 companies while Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. 16 companies created while he was vice president. Now the list is 20, and as we continue our investigation, that list is growing. And like I said before, the question is to serve what purpose? And the purpose of all these companies being created is to conceal money that the Biden family has been gaining because Joe Biden has been sitting at the upper echelon of our politics for almost 5 decades. That is the entire purpose here. Here's an example of what I mean. You have Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners, RSP Holdings, RSTP2 Alpha, RSTP2 Bravo, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, Rosemont Seneca Bohai. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Bohai, B-O-H-A-I. And the list goes on and on. Cycling through this many companies serves no legitimate purpose. And as somebody who actually worked in banking, I did that long before I came here. Whenever there was like this many companies just laying all over the place, and you see wire transfers and cashier checks over here, going to random members of the family for no apparent purpose at the size and velocity at which all of this was being conducted, the only logical conclusion of a financial professional is you are concealing money. Let me restate this. You are concealing money from either the IRS or from credit agencies or from other people in general. That's the only reason you set up a structure like this.
Yeah, so you're never going to hear MSNBC/Joy Reid talk about the Biden crime family business. You're never going to hear her stand up for Tara Reid and her alleged allegations against Joe Biden, okay? You're never going to hear her complain about the network hosting Joe Biden for a town hall in a crowd full of lefty Democrat Joe Biden supporters, right? You're never going to hear about it, okay? And they would never ask Joe Biden about his Me Too allegations on national television like that. They would never do it. They're never going to do real-time fact checks, even though Biden lies all the time, okay? Again, it's just amazing how this works. Now, CNN, instead of, holding strong to their position of, well, we actually really believe in democracy, which should be their real position, and as a part of believing in democracy, hey, we think that all voices should be platformed, even if we disagree with them. Instead of holding on to that, their host, like Anderson Cooper, is continuing to have a full-blown meltdown on air in response to criticism from people like Joy Reid and the leftists in the liberal media. Take a look.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact-check him, it is impossible to fact-check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
Yeah, so that is Anderson Cooper basically giving his spiel, trashing Trump supporters, okay? Trashing people that tune in to watch the network, who never watch the network, trashing them, okay? Trashing the president, while at the same time also trying to criticize the left-wing critics in the media that are coming out to CNN for hosting this town hall in the first place. And again, they're doing the Bud Light thing, right? They're doing the Bud Light. They're trying to thread a needle here that just can't be thread, okay? Like, at the end of the day, man, like, look, you hosted a town hall, stand by your guns. The worst thing that CNN did that night, okay, was not host a town hall or have Trump supporters in the audience. The worst thing they did was to have their host sit up there and try to debate Trump, okay, on stage, where they advertised it as an event where Trump is supposed to be having a conversation with voters, not with the host, okay? It's not supposed to be a debate. Look at the ratings that you got. What that tells you is that, hey, people want to hear a diversity of opinions, right? That tells you the direction that you need to go. And this is why I'm saying this, guys. I'm not necessarily rooting for CNN in the sense that I want CNN to be successful. But when you talk about this fight for this country, right? Having another mainstream media outlet outside of Fox News that actually will platform Trump conservatives, okay, that would platform people that are America first, that is objectively a good thing. I don't care if I hate the network, right? If that is what they need to do to increase their ratings, I'm all for it, right? And I think that that's what CNN should do, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of the criticism coming from MSNBC, Joy Reid, the left, it's because they don't like the fact that CNN, if they go in this direction, like I've been saying from the get-go, as soon as the new CEO took over, I was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Have Trump people on, right? Go get yourself a Tucker Carlson. Fox News does not have enough competition. That is why Fox News continues to dominate. It's not like people are super satisfied with Fox News, but one thing about Fox News is that they cover real stories, okay? They cover stories that people actually want to listen to. Okay, they don't sit around and talk about January 6th all day. They don't sit around and talk about the 2020 election all day. They don't sit around and talk about Trump's personal life all day. They talk about crime. They talk about what's going on in our schools. If you start platforming America First conservatives and start talking about issues that America First conservatives, that half the country cares about, oh, voila, you're going to get half the country to watch you, right? Again, it's really that simple. When I was watching that panel with Byron Donalds and the rest of that CNN panel, okay, after the town hall, I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, I'm actually impressed that CNN had a Trump conservative go on that platform and to actually debate and to represent America First views, which is what Byron Donalds did, and I found it to be entertaining. Byron Donalds wiped the floor with the rest of that panel that was overtly anti-Trump. And that, to me, in my opinion, I was like, yo, if CNN is doing that every night, I will watch. I will watch if they're doing that every single night. But see, the problem is that they're more concerned about trying to influence the outcome of the 2024 election than they are about actually being real journalists, right? Because that's what Joy Reid and them are mad about. They're mad because, oh, you're giving Trump a platform. People might agree with him. People might go out and vote for him. They might like him, right? That's what they're concerned about. They're also, again, concerned that CNN might, start to beat them in ratings, get more viewership. Look at Tucker Carlson. Dude had more Democrat and Republican voters watching him than anybody in the media. Well, why is that? It's because he was anti-establishment. He also wasn't an anti-Trump guy, right? It's just amazing how that works, right? When you represent all sides, you get more viewers. Wow, right? That's a magical concept. I'm just saying, I think that CNN, my biggest criticism of them is not hosting it, is not having Trump supporters in the audience. My biggest criticism of them is trying to go on that stage and debate Trump instead of just letting the conversation play out. And then afterwards coming out here and giving this apology tour, this boohoo fest to the liberal media who's upset with them doing what they had to do. Because regardless, you're still going to get trashed, right? You did everything that they asked you to do and you still get trashed, which tells you that there's a no-win situation here. CNN is going to miss out on a big opportunity, okay, which is to gain new viewership, to expand their viewership, to get better ratings, because, again, they want to capitulate to the mainstream liberal media, okay, and their critics in the media, because, hey, they don't want to be blamed for allowing Trump to become president again, right? Again, it's just absolutely hilarious to watch it because, again, this is a big opportunity for CNN. This is a layup, bro. Start having America First conservatives on the network. In fact, you should go out and get yourself a Tucker Carlson. Go out and get yourself a America First news anchor for a primetime slot. And I'm telling you, those ratings, you're going to go up, okay? You're going to beat MSNBC. It's not hard to beat MSNBC. They're an extremist network, okay? Again, they're afraid. They're afraid that, again, if CNN goes in this direction, that they're going to lose out, right? They're going to lose out. But again, CNN, because they're trying to capitulate to everybody instead of just sticking to their guns, going where the numbers are telling them they should go, they're just going to lose everybody, right? They're going to lose everybody. They're going to stay irrelevant. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.